What's up, boys? Up in Georgetown, installing some cabinets. Knocked out a pantry there earlier. And I got a pre-shim on this wall that I want to do it run down. I got a big old wall. It's all talls. Couple of wall cabinets in the middle. Couple of base cabinets, oven, fridge, Sub-Zero fridge thing going on, right? The wall is kind of wonky. And so I wanted to roll with the pre-shim, and with this solid wall cabinets, it's just a really good option to get started on it. So to get started, I lay out all my cabinets on the wall, just drawing the lines, right? There's the oven, here's a wall cabinet, there's another wall cabinet. Then I go find where I'm going to punch screws through all the cabinets. So the wall cabinets are going to get screws 2 inches from the bottom. Right, that's the top. 2 inches from the top, and then you get another screw. Yep, right there. That's at the top of the cabinet. So I find the studs for all of the screw points. Right, the dotted line I do for my screw height, and then find the studs for each of those points. There. Oven cabinet, screws there, through the bottom. That's going to be 2 up top, 2 through here, 2 through the bottom. This is going to end up having to get cleated off the wall and built out and stuff. So we're not going to pre-shim this section of the wall, but we pre-shim this whole thing to be all in one plane. So cabinets drawn on the walls, and then all of the intersecting stud points where you're going to put a screw through are marked out. Okay. Next, we got to find the high point on the wall. I do that by grabbing the level and just getting a general picture of it. And I cut a bunch of blocks, all the same length, right? And I start by just putting the block on the ground, something like that, and then putting the block on the ground over here, something like this. And we'll take the laser and we'll shoot it across the wall, and then you can just drag your block around the wall. And when you reach a high point, it'll pop up like that. So you just drag your block around the whole wall until you find the high point on either side of the wall. This is where it just comes into kind of like looking and understanding at the wall, like finding the highest point over here and find the highest point in this section over here, right? Because we got to just keep everything in plane. So your 2 highest points on either side of the wall, and then reset up your laser to kiss your 2 highest points. I just hot glue the wall, block to the wall. So the highest points on the wall, highest point farthest out was there, hot glue the block to the wall, take the laser, make a kiss. Now I run around to each of these points, and I use the same width block, and I'm going to add spacers there. I'm going to add shims until it pulls that block off the wall, and the laser just starts kissing. I like to use these. When we get over into there, probably going to need some additional blocks because it's way far out. So we'll have to double up and stuff over here. Or not double up, but you'll see what I'm doing. You'll see what I'm doing. I'm gonna start gluing. Just do a little something like this. These are just those horseshoe tile spacers. Pretty good. If I have to do more than half an inch or something, then I'll start adding in little blocks of wood either side. See? Just do this with all of them. Work it down the line. See? Keep going. All things. So, why go through all of this extra work? Well, ultimately, this is why. If you were to just start with your oven cabinet and install that way and roll this way, you'd run into that big massive hump that's going on in the middle of the wall. And if you get that big massive hump and you got everything already screwed to the wall with frameless cabinets, you're not going to be able to keep running straight or with the wall because they're all square boxes, right? They're going to want to stay straight. So you set this one first, and it's going to rock the whole system out that way, and then you'll end up having to come back to here, pull it off the wall. You can't get shims in underneath and behind now. So if you assess your wall and it's just really bad, just roll with the pre-shim. It'll save you. All right, for demonstration purposes, I set the laser up so that it was kissing the front of all these so you guys can kind of see what's going on. We're diving right back into that wall there. I don't want to change it. I didn't want to go out any farther here because I'm already going to be tight on depth. So we just picked our high point out here, and the high point, which is in right there, and kissed the laser. And you can see that now each of those points are touching all the way down. So that gives me a flat surface to screw to. So tomorrow we just put the cabinets where they need to go and screw them to the wall. You don't hardly even need to double check off the wall. You gotta check plum, but we'll run through that tomorrow. And then that thing, fridge. Have a good one, guys.